The Outermost House, A Year of Life on the Great Beach of Cape Cod by Henry Beston. Chapter 3, The Headlong Wave. Section 2. The seas are the heart's blood of the earth, plucked up and kneaded by the sun and the moon. The tides are systole and diastole of earth's veins. The rhythm of waves beats in the sea like a pulse in living flesh. It is pure force, forever embodying itself in a succession of watery shapes which vanish on its passing. I stand on my dune top, watching a great wave coursing in from sea, and know that I am watching an illusion, that the distant water has not left its place in ocean to advance upon me, but only a force shaped in water, a bodiless pulse beat, a vibration. Consider the marvel of what we see. Somewhere in ocean, perhaps 1,000 miles and more from this beach, the pulse beat of earth liberates a vibration, an ocean wave. Is the original force circular, I wonder? And do ocean waves ring out from the creative beat as they do on a quiet surface broken by a stone? And there, perhaps, ocean circles so great and so intricate that they are unperceived. Once created, the wave or the arc of a wave begins its journey through the sea. Countless vibrations precede it. Countless vibrations follow after. It approaches the continent, swings into the coastline, courses ashore, breaks, dissolves, is gone. The innermost waters it last inhabited flow back in marbly foam to become a body to another beat, and to be again flung down. So it goes night and day, and will go till the secret heart of earth strikes out its last slow beat, and the last wave dissolves upon the last forsaken shore. As I stand on my dune top, however, I do not think of the illusion and the beat of earth, for I watch the waves with my outer rather than my inner eye. After all, the illusion is set off by an extraordinary, an almost miraculous thing, the embodiment of the wave beat in an almost constant shape. We see a wave a quarter of a mile off, then a few hundred yards near in, then just offshore. We seem to have been watching the same traveling mass of water. There has been no appreciable change in mass or in shape. Yet all the while, the original beat has taken on a flowing series of liquid bodies, bodies so alike, so much the same, that our eye will individualize them and follow them in, the third wave, we say, or the second wave behind the great wave. How strange it is that this beat of earth, this mysterious undulation of the seas, moving through and among the other forces stirring the waters close off the continent, should thus keep its constancy of form and mass, and how odd a blend of illusion and reality it all is. On the whole, the outer eye has the best of it. Blowing all day long, a northwest wind yesterday swept the sky clear of every tatter and wisp of cloud. Clear it still is, though the wind has shifted to the east. The sky this afternoon is a harmony of universal blue, bordered with a surf rim of snowiest blue-white. Far out at sea, in the northeast and near the horizon, is a pool of the loveliest blue I have ever seen here. A light blue, a petal blue, blue of the emperor's gown in a Chinese fairy tale. If you would see waves at their best, Come on such a day, when the ocean reflects a lovely sky and the wind is light and onshore. Plan to arrive in the afternoon so that you will have the sun facing the breakers. Come early, for the glints on the waves are most beautiful and interesting when the light is oblique and high, and come with a rising tide. The surf is high, and on the far side of it, a wave greater than its fellows is shouldering out of the blue, glinting immensity of sea. Friends tell me that there are certain tropic beaches where waves miles long break all at once in one cannonading crash. A little of this, I imagine, would be magnificent, a constancy of it unbearable. The surf here is broken. It approaches the beach in long intercurrent parallels, some a few 100 feet long, some an eighth of a mile long, some, and the longest, attaining the quarter-mile length and perhaps just over. Thus, at all times and instants of the day, along the 5 miles of beach visible from the forecastle deck, waves are to be seen breaking, causing in to break, seething up and sliding back. But to return to the blue wave rolling in out of the blue spaciousness of sea. On the other side of the world, just opposite the Cape, lies the ancient Spanish province of Galicia and the town of Pontevedra and St. James Compostela, renowned of pilgrims. When I was there, they offered me a silver cockle shell, but I would have none of it, and got myself a seashell from some Galician fisherfolk. Somewhere between this Spanish land and Cape Cod, the pulse of earth has engendered this wave and sent it coursing westward through the seas. Far off the coast, the spray of its passing has perhaps risen on the windward bow of some rusty freighter and fallen in rainbow drops upon her plates. The great liners have felt it course beneath their keels. A continent rises in the west, and the pulse beat approaches this bulwark of Cape Cod. 2/3 of a mile out, the wave is still a sea vibration, a billow. Slice it across, and its outline will be that of a slightly flattened semicircle. The pulse is shaped in a long, advancing mound. I watch it approach the beach, closer and closer in. It is rising with the rise of the beach and the shoaling of the water. Closer still, it is changing from a mound to a pyramid which swiftly distorts, the seaward side lengthening, the landward side incurving. The wave is now a breaker. Along the ridge of blue foam forms a rippling crest of clear, bright water. A little spray flies off. Under the racing foam, churned up by the dissolution of other breakers, the beach now catches at the last shape of sea inhabited by the pulse. The wave is tripled by the shoaling sand. The giant stumbles, crashes, and is pushed over and ahead by the sloping line of force behind. The fall of a breaker is never the work of gravity alone. It is the last line of the wave that has captured the decorative imagination of the world. The long seaward slope, the curling crest, the incurved volute ahead. Toppling over and hurled ahead, the wave crashes, its mass of glinting blue falling down in a confusion of seething, splendid white. The tumbling water rebounding from the sand to a height almost always a little above that of the original crest. Out of the wild, crumbling confusion born of the dissolution of the force and the last great shape, foamy fountains spurt, and ringlets of spray. The mass of water, still all furiously a churn and seething white, now rushes for the rim of the beach as it might for an inconceivable cataract. Within 35 feet, the water shoals from 2 feet to dry land. The edge of the rush thins, and the last impulse disappears in inch-deep slides of foam which reflect the sky in one last moment of energy and beauty, and then vanish all at once into the sands. Another thundering, and the water that has escaped and withdrawn is gathered up and swept forward again by another breaking wave. Night and day, age after age, so works the sea, with infinite variation, obeying an unalterable rhythm, moving through an intricacy of chance and law. I can watch a fine surf for hours, taking pleasure in all its wild plays and variations. I like to stand on my beach, watching a long wave start breaking in many places and see the curling water run north and south from the several beginnings and collide in furious white pyramids built of the opposing energies. Splendid fountains often delight the eye. A towering and deep-bellied wave, toppling, encloses in its volute a quantity of air, and a few seconds after the spill, this prisoned and compressed vapor bursts up through the boiling rush in feathery, foamy jets and geyser plumes. I have seen fountains here on a September day, 20 and 25 and even 30 feet high. Sometimes a curious thing happens. Instead of escaping vertically, the rolled-up air escapes horizontally, and the breaker suddenly blows, as from a dragon's mouth, a great lateral puff of steamy spray. On sunny days, the toppling crest is often mirrored in that glassy volute as the wave is breaking. One lovely autumn afternoon, I saw a beautiful white gull sailing along the volute of a breaker, accompanied by his reflection in the wave. I add one curious effect of the wind. When the wind is directly offshore or well offshore, the waves approach fighting it. When the wind is offshore, but so little off that its angle with the coastline is oblique, say an angle never greater than 22 degrees and never less than about 20, the waves that approach the coast do not give battle, but run in with their long axes parallel to the wind. Sitting in the forecastle, I can often tell the exact quarter of an offshore wind simply by looking at this oblique alignment of the waves. The long miles of beach are never more beautiful than when waves are rolling in fighting a strong breeze. Then do the breakers actually seem to charge the coast. As they approach, the wind meets them in a shock of war. The chargers rear but go on, and the wind blows back their manes. North and south, I watch them coursing in, the manes of white, sun-brilliant spray streaming behind them for 30 and even 40 feet. Sea horses do men call such waves on every coast of the world. If you would see them at their best, come to this beach on a bright October day when a northwest wind is billowing off to sea across the moors.